Hello friends, it's the middle of June. This time last year I had my entire garden completely planted and was just eagerly waiting for everything to pop up. This year I'm just now finishing the planting, or at least for the most part. But I have a good reason. Last year I had one 4 by 7.5 foot bed and just about the same amount of space in container plantings. This year I have 25 foot by 20 feet beds. So it's a lot more. Plus we had to start from scratch for all of them. It's been quite the chore. But I think I'm ready to take you on a quick tour of what I have done so far. Alright, in this first bed I attempted to plant asparagus. I bought crowns. They were sort of crunchy. The flowers are coming up. They're just nasturtiums and cosmos on the other side. This bed, I'm going to wait another couple of weeks to see what it's doing, and if it's not doing anything, I'm going to rake it through one more time and I'm going to try and plant the asparagus seed instead. Bed number 2 is strawberries. They are doing quite well. Some of them shocked pretty hard from the transplant and the full day sun, but they're coming back well. The end of the bed is bulbs, just flowers, until I get more strawberries from these. Once they set runners, I plan to put them in the second part of the bed. But until then, I have flowers and I'm waiting for those to come up. Those are bulbs, so if I don't see something in another week or two, I will plant a bunch of zinnias there. Bed number 3 is very promising. I have planted all corn here, just sweet corn, one variety. I was going to plant 2, but I have so much seed, I decided to stick to 1, and then next year we'll see what we can do. I also have sunflowers intermixed between them so that hopefully we'll have a little bit of color in there. This is bed 4. Bed 4 is sort of interesting. I have, of course, sunflowers that are just popping up, but these little green ones are the rice, and at the very end is Job's tears. I haven't seen any of the Job's tears just yet. Let's take a peek and see if there's anything coming up. The sunflowers are, but I don't see any Job's tears. Those are more sunflowers at the end. So we'll see. We'll give it a little bit longer to see what they're doing. Bed 5 is doing great. This is my onions and leeks. I have 3 different kinds of onions planted in here, and they look really good. Some of them, I can see the nice little globe. I didn't work very hard at raking the soil out because I just wanted to get the onions in the ground, and they've been doing fine. And it just occurred to me that I don't have any flowers in this bed. This is, I think, the only bed that doesn't have flowers. Bed 6 has okra coming up in the front here. We've got some marigolds as well. So it's clumps and spineless okra, nasturtiums in between the other crops. So I have 2 different types of Brussels sprouts, then 2 different types of cauliflower, bok choy there, that is getting eaten big time. 2 different types of cabbage, and I just planted 2 different types of broccolis there, and then we have 2 different types of broccoli here. 3 different types of broccoli, actually, and then that's 2 more types of broccoli. Bed 7 is fun. This is my peppers interspersed with some cosmos, and then I put out the sweet potatoes, and I also have peanuts, which some of the peanuts are starting to pop up. They're very tiny, they're hard to see. I have flower seeds here, but I don't think they took, so I'm gonna have to replant those. In the pepper bed I have some teeny tiny little itty bitty peppers growing. This is very exciting. So that was California Wonder, and this one, the tag is worn off completely, but it looks like it might be the banana pepper. I'm not sure. Oh look, there's another little itty bitty guy. So cute. Alright, so that one's there. Bed 8 is super easy. It is just potatoes. So these are the potatoes that were just growing up huge eyes, so we threw them in the ground. I've got some nasturtium at both ends of the bed, they appear to be doing well. I'll probably sift through some of the dirt that's in the piles at the end of the beds so that I can get some more dirt to put over top of the potatoes. But other than that, they're easy. I don't have to do anything to them. Bed 9 is finished. It has 2 different types of pumpkins, jack-o'-lantern pumpkins and pie pumpkins. However, when I planted them, I didn't keep them separated, so I've only got 4 of them at the very end that I know which ones are which. So I guess it'll be a guessing game. I did plant some, I think, zinnias or sunflowers in the centers. Bed 10 isn't finished planting yet. I have some squashes that are still hardening off. I planted a few from seed, but I have some butternuts. These 3 butternuts were given to me, and then I have some nasturtium that is planted along the middle there. I believe I put marigolds off along the sides, but I can't remember. I guess we'll find out when it starts coming up. Bed 11 starts my tomatoes. We just started getting the T-posts in. We're gonna do the Florida weave method, at least this year. I don't know, we'll see how I like it. These are mostly salad type tomatoes. I've got nasturtium on the corners and borage in the middle. I've got borage on all of the buds. I also squoze in, is that a word? It is now. Squoze in lime green salad tomatoes. And other than the miniature tomatoes, these are probably going to be the first ones that are mature for me. This is, oh, I'm sorry, there's some cherry tomatoes in here. Yellow pear, Brad's Atomic Grape. These are 2 red cherry tomatoes. They're mystery tomatoes. I have no idea what they were. I lost the tags. Here's 2 large red cherries, purple bumblebee, nasturtium, borage, nasturtium again at the corners. Got 2 early girl, 1 early girl, oh look at, yay, way to go early girl. That early girl was just planted, so it's a little behind, just transplanted that is. Then I have a Dr. White's, again it was just planted, it took the place of another one that had died. 2 Cherokee purples, I've got nice flowers on those, nice. The Isis candy, oh, just did not do well. This is the best one of the bunch. This is actually the crown that broke off, and I just stuck it in the ground and hoping to see that it grows. So far it's doing better now that it actually, once it broke off, it seems to be doing better. I had 1 Super Sweet 100. These did really great for me last year. This year, not so much. It's the only one out of like 8 or 10 that survived. Go figure. And then Chadwick Cherry. Bed 12 is my paste tomatoes. I also put borage at the middles of each end, and this one is lined with bush beans. So I have 6 Amish paste tomatoes, and then as far as the bean goes, some of them got misplaced, so I'll do the ones that I know what they are. This one's Uncle Willie's. I don't know what these ones are. I think these ones are the Sequoias. Kalima bean. Then we have strike bean, and this is where my 6 San Marzanos start. We have 4 on this side and then 2 on that side. Provider bush bean. I don't know what bean that was. These are my last 2 San Marzanos, but these are black turtle beans. These are Tanya's pink potted beans. Purple dove beans, and you can actually see the purple. That's cool, right? Then we start our Romas. We have 6 Romas. We got Cherokee Trail of Tears beans, dragon tongue bean, and with the 2 lime green tomatoes, this was pigeon peas that is not coming up. But look at these. That's the lime green tomato. This is the only determinate variety other than the dwarf that I have in the garden, but it's such a good producer. I mean, it's getting eaten up something terrible by the flea beetles. Look at those tomatoes. Yay! Those would be delicious. Okay, bed 13 is another tomato, and my last tomatoes. This is mostly cherry tomatoes. I have my dwarf orange hat Baker Creek tomato here. They're so cute. So this tomato bed is also sharing with basil. So I planted sweet basil all along here until halfway through. So I have Costoluto Genovese, Wisconsin 55, Martian Giant, and along with the Martian Giant is change in basil, so now I have lemon basil. The Oregon Spring tomato, and the Oregon Spring tomato is also producing. Look at that. That should be early. Then I have one wild basil. Then I have camper tomatoes. Don't look them up. They're a variety that was given to me. That's just what I'm calling them. I've got borage and cosmos at the end. Two more Dr. Weich's, and it looks really good. This is one of the few tomatoes that look really amazing. Two beefsteak, two Paul Robesons, two white Tomasol, two Brandywine, and that's the end of the tomatoes. Bed 14 is waiting for squashes. We're going to have pink banana squash here and one more at the end so that they can trail the sides of the beds. Other than that, we have pineapple ground cherries. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of those. We have black beauty eggplant, which is nice and peppered with the flea beetles. And then pink tongue. Again, nice flea beetle damage. You can actually see them in the camera. They're everywhere. And then I have 4 purple tomatillos. 1, 2, 3, and that one is the only one that wants to lay down on the job. And then cosmos at the end. Bed 15 is the kids' garden. I switched it. It was supposed to be closer to the garden gates, but I moved it because I was taking too long in getting the bed prepared and I wanted to get these plants in the ground. The main focal point is the bean teepee. Along the bean teepee, I have 2 climbing beans coming up. One is the asparagus bean and the other one is rattlesnake pole beans. They're planted all along the sides of the teepee, and at the base of the teepee I also planted at each pole, I planted big sunflowers so that hopefully we'll have some nice sunflowers coming up there. Around the sides here I planted some bush beans, just garden, Blue Lake Garden bush beans. Then I have, on this side of the path, I have borage right there, another pineapple ground cherry, and then each one of these hopefully will have something climbing on it. This one is going to be the 10 Commandment gourds. It's not here yet, right? No. 10 Commandment gourd is going to be here. This is red Malabar spinach. Hopefully it'll come up. Cucamelon's going to be right here. These are climbing peas, climbing nasturtium, and I can't remember what the last 2 are going to be. We'll see. This side of the children's garden has just cherry tomatoes. They're all different ones. I need to make pretty labels for them, but so far is the Oregon Spring, well that's more, it's not really a cherry tomato, but yellow pear, Chadwick cherry, Isis candy, purple bumblebee. In front of it is the lemon basil because it smells pretty, very lemony, very basil-y, so that'll be fun. The last part is going to be my daughter's flower garden, and it is separated by a row of zinnias that are yet to come up. Bed 16 has, again, nasturtium. We have 3 different kinds of kales. Purple top turnip I just planted, kohlrabi I just planted, parsnips I just planted. Then we have rutabagas and fennel. And at the very end, zinnias, and I think some nasturtium in there too. Bed 17 is my herb garden and overflow bed. So the herb garden, you have roselle right here, chives on each side, bergamot, sage, chamomile, I think that's lemon bee balm. At the end was an extra tomato. I don't even know what it was. More chives at the corners. Peppermint, mountain mint, lemon balm, and Tulsi basil. Bed number 18 also I just planted, except for the flowers. They've been established for a little while. These are semi-dwarf Alaskan nasturtiums, so they are variegated. They're very pretty. Along this bed though is cucumbers, dill, peas, and carrots all the way along. And at the very end is going to be zinnias, and I think they also have nasturtiums in there too. Bed 19, the front part is waiting for plants to be hardened off. but I have 2 rows of pole beans, most of which have come up. So my Blue Lake pole bean and my Kentucky Wonder pole bean, I think that the seed is a little too old. None of them have popped up yet, but the chocolate runner bean is doing well. So the Hydatsut, well, I can't say it, but it's a pole bean. On the other side, I need some flowers in here too. Chinese red noodle, asparagus pole, Haudenosaunee skunk pole bean, and the rattlesnake pole bean. Bed 20 is almost completely empty except for flowers. This will hopefully be some of the squashes and the climbing things like loofah and all that, but I'm waiting for a cattle panel and I'm trying to harden those plants off. So this is yet to come. There's nothing planted near. Alright friends, well that's the end of the garden tour. Hopefully the next time I take you on a tour it'll be a little bit fuller and things will be a little bit more grown in and a little more colorful with flowers. That's why I planted so many. Alright friends, thank you so much for joining me today. Bye bye for now.